Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. I appreciate it tremendously. Thank you for being here. So we are going to be announcing today criminal charges against more than a dozen individuals regarding financial crimes to include identity theft, insurance fraud, forgery, and washing vehicle titles. At the center of this criminal enterprise was a chop shop location at the alleged ringleader's home in Lebanon City, and an auto sales and repair shop at a separate location also in Lebanon City. We will provide the names of the defendants, what they are charged with, and the criminal conduct involved in what was an elaborate, multi-layered criminal organization with numerous individuals playing specialized roles in this well-oiled machine that profited illegally for several years. Our investigation, titled Operation Dirty Paper, involved presentments from the 52nd Statewide Investigating Grand Jury. The investigation revealed that this organization profited well over $500,000 through criminal activities. As I mentioned, the physical home bases for the enterprise were located in Lebanon, but their conduct impacted many regions throughout Pennsylvania, primarily the eastern part of the state and beyond, as many vehicles that filtered through the chop shop, as well as vehicle paperwork that was washed or falsified, were distributed across the eastern part of the state and neighboring states. We will discuss how collaboration with the Pennsylvania State Police led to this takedown and how the crimes involved impacted Pennsylvanians. The grand jury returned 2 separate presentments as our investigation revealed there were many layers to this conduct. The individuals involved had their specialized lanes of criminal activity. Together they operated as an assembly line of illegality. We had the Vidal organization, led by Angel Vidal, who ran the chop shop from his home. The second presentment regards El Fuerte Auto Sales and Services. 12 members of the Vidal organization, including Angel Vidal, are charged with a variety of offenses, including corrupt organizations, receiving stolen property, identity theft, insurance fraud, and conspiracy. We have copies of Angel Vidal's criminal complaint here today that outlines a long list of charges and criminal conduct. To summarize, the Vidal organization operated the chop shop, playing a central role. We viewed the organization's conduct breaking down into 4 different stages. Those stages or schemes are outlined here on the display board. First, we had the stolen vehicle component. Dozens of rental vehicles were stolen, mostly out of state, by individuals who used false identification to rent the vehicles. Renting out of state was by design, so the enterprise had time to run the vehicles through the chop shop before the theft was fully known. And when the rental companies came calling and looking for the person who rented the vehicle, they were chasing phantoms. Second, those vehicles went to the chop shop where they were dismantled and rebranded, so to speak. They were given new VIN numbers and washed titles as they were prepared for black market sales. And number 3, these vehicles were sold with the bad paperwork and numbers to fences or unsuspecting illegitimate or legitimate buyers. The vehicles were often sold below market value so that they would sell quickly, and the Vidal organization could then wash their hands of them. Finally, Scheme 4 involves a laundry list of financial crimes that helped keep this organization up and running. We are talking about identity fraud, bank fraud, insurance fraud, check fraud, and the sale of fraudulent documents. These acts brought cash flow into the criminal enterprise and bankrolled it. This scheme had a direct impact on Pennsylvanians, as the Vidal organization stole identities and then posed as those individuals to obtain insurance policies and other transactions. The El Fuerte presentment involves charges against 3 individuals and the 2 business entities involved. While this is a separate presentment, 3 defendants and their conduct was interwoven to form this one large criminal enterprise. El Fuerte was led by Jonathan Peguero Rodriguez and Yohandari Bonilla. El Fuente performed specialized criminal acts and tasks that aided the Vidal organization, primarily conducting improper vehicle inspections, commonly called lick'em and stick'em inspections, falsifying inspection records, misrepresentation of vehicle purchase prices, and renting of dealer plates. We found another $50,000 plus in profits resulting from the El Fuerte crimes. Again, we have these visual aids here to help articulate what was involved. This was a highly organized enterprise. We have a breakdown of the 4 different schemes as well as a model showing the flow of a stolen vehicle. These cases were investigated by our insurance fraud section and our organized crime section in collaboration with the Pennsylvania State Police. The state police are here today to talk about their great work. And I will call on Rob Labar, Chief Deputy of our Insurance Fraud Section, to talk more about how this investigation and its many, many moving parts played out. But before I get to that, I want to emphasize, thankfully, we do not have persons who were injured or killed as a result of this conduct. But make no mistake, this conduct caused harm to consumers through identity theft, and also really anyone who comes into contact with one of these vehicles that pass through the criminal enterprise. Chop shops pose public safety threats as they dismantle vehicles, put those vehicles back on the streets without proper, thorough safety inspections that assure that a vehicle is safe. Additionally, fraudulent documents, title washing, and altered VIN numbers circumvent state regulations that are in place to keep our roadways safe, ensuring vehicle operations are safe throughout the Commonwealth. When those systems are undermined, we are all at a risk of harm. I will close by saying that this investigation was extremely time-consuming, tedious, and involved countless hours to unpack all of the criminal acts that were at play. I commend our team, the grand jurors, and our law enforcement partners, mainly the Pennsylvania State Police. This will not be the last time that you hear me say this, but when law enforcement collaborates together, communities are better off. And if our communities aren't safe, nothing else matters. If you read through the criminal complaints in this case, you'll find the depth of the criminal conduct involved and how varied it was. The investigators here deserve praise for their hard work and their collaboration. And the work is not done, as my office will prosecute these defendants in the coming weeks and months. And I just want to say that sometimes we have bad actors in the community that do things that are very, very harmful to society. And they think that because it's complex and that it'll take a long time and effort to get to the bottom of it, that they may get away with it. It's important for people to understand that law enforcement works together every single day to dig into these crimes, to take the time to do it, and to hopefully, as is today, bring these individuals to justice to keep our community safe. And so with that being said, I'd like to bring Chief Deputy Rob Labar for his comments. Rob.
Thank you. Thank you. Just want to address the collaboration and start there. This case started with a referral from the National Insurance Crime Bureau that went to the state police. They reached out to us. We started collaborating. We reached out to other entities to put this case together, and without all that collaboration, none of this gets done. I'd like to thank the dedicated team of prosecutors, agents, analysts, and troopers, cooperation of agencies like PennDOT on this. I'd also like to commend the grand jurors for their time commitment in putting this complicated case before the grand jury. The economic impact of this case is significant. You'll see the figure is $500,000, but it's much more than that. The innocent individuals of the identity theft, innocent buyers of the vehicles, large companies, small companies, large companies like the rental vehicles, U-Haul, Avis, Enterprise, small companies like small dealerships. Insurance companies and individuals that had their vehicles stolen also are victims of this. So through the collaborative efforts of this case, we were able to put this together, and I think that without all the hard work and dedication of everybody involved here, we don't get to where we're at. And I'd like to thank the state police, and I'd call up the Captain Reinhardt to address some of the things. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Captain James Reinard. I'm the Director of the Special Investigations Division of our Bureau of Criminal Investigation. And I'd just like to reiterate what Attorney General Sunday said. The collaboration between all law enforcement partners in the Commonwealth to dismantle this criminal enterprise was outstanding. The work of the investigators, the tedious work, because this was not something easy to investigate. It was time-consuming. The victims, the hardworking citizens of the Commonwealth who were victimized by this, it's a testament to the work of our members and the community support that we receive. And I'd like to see the Pennsylvania State Police and I'm here to say that we will continue with that effort with our local law enforcement partners to continue to dismantle these criminal organizations. Thank you. Attorney Sunday?
Yep. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. If anyone has any specific questions about this, we'll do the best we can to answer them at this time. I always want to make sure I say that, the defendants in this case are innocent until proven guilty.
You mentioned the impact on Pennsylvanians in terms of identity fraud. How many identities were potentially impacted or stolen?
I mean, we know from the investigation that several of the vehicles were rented by stolen identities that were secured off the dark web. How massive that was, we focused on the vehicles that we were able to follow through on this investigation. So I'm sure there's more victims out there, but certainly significant.
And in terms of how many vehicles were impacted or sold?
How many we have? Almost 30 vehicles. It's spelled out in the presentments.
The folks who had their identity stolen or purchased a car, obviously not knowingly that it was illegal, are they able to pursue a civil lawsuit against the defendants?
Yeah, sure.
I can only speak to our case and the work that we're doing here with regard to the criminal investigation. I can't speak to whether or not there would be a civil remedy. I would suggest that they reach out to an attorney to have that conversation. Yep.
Sorry, the individuals that were involved in this, are they natural-born citizens in the U.S.? Are they from Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
There's a combination.
Do you want to say that? Go ahead. You can do it. You got it.
This is a significant amount of people involved, and we found there's a lot of collaboration between different communities, and there was a combination of both natural-born citizens and both not.
When you talk about a significant number of people, how many?
There have been 15 individuals charged, 15, and 2 businesses charged in this investigation.
And what were the businesses?
It's Lebanon-based businesses called El Forte. There's 2 different sections that you are able to see in the complaint.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You mentioned that vehicles were originally rented in other states. What neighboring states were those?
Yeah, Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, and I think that's it, right? Yeah. All right.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you covering this. Feel free to, if you haven't already, come up and look at the different posters we have up here outlining it. And I just want to again take a moment to thank all of our law enforcement partners. When we work together, amazing things can happen, and that's what happened here. It happens every day throughout Pennsylvania. I'm grateful for the Pennsylvania State Police, and I'm also exceedingly grateful for the hardworking staff here in the Attorney General's office who do everything they can every day to keep the Commonwealth safe. So thank you, everyone.